Hi everybody, it's Wednesday and we're on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange with Jim Cramer. Jim, the market's back up again. Driving the Dow is Boeing.
Yeah, Boeing, United Health on a rebound off of, the stock took a real header in the second part of the day too, off the triumvirate of Buffett and Bezos and Diamond. And that can have a rebound, but I would be careful there ahead of the Amazon call tomorrow if they mention it. Boeing was just a magnificent quarter, and the stock had been going down. You know, I've been saying that Boeing goes to 400. I didn't really understand the decline. We debated buying it for Action Alerts Plus, but we figured, geez, you know, how much is it going to come down? They emphasized defense, and the back orders are really magnificent. They bought back $9 billion worth of stock. There were no flies in that quarter. It was beautiful.
And when you interviewed Dennis Muhlenberg back in December, stock was at what, 282?
Yeah, and it was December 7th, and the stock just took off. And I said it was going to go to 400. Then I caveated by saying it's going to be in 18 months. Well, it's going to be faster than that. I think that Boeing, the aerospace cycle is alive and well, and that's going to help Action Alerts name Honeywell. And of course, it helps United Technologies.
Also, Jim, you tweeted early this morning about Apple and when that downgrade was coming, and of course it came.
Okay, let's talk about Apple. Katie Ubre's really the lone analyst now from Morgan Stanley who thinks that sales might not be as bad. Broadcom this morning, big Action Alert name, talked about how there is weakness in communications in this quarter, which is they're the largest provider of intellectual property of actual dollar amount, let's say dollar content, because Qualcomm will disagree with me. And they did signal that there is weakness. Now, let me be very clear. I think there's weakness. I don't think the sales are that strong, but I think the cycles for the sales are much longer. You put out an 8, you put out a 10, and what you really do is say, okay, well, look, these are going to be out there for a while, and as people come to the stores, whether it be in India, whether Latin America, whether it be Europe, Japan, and of course China, there being new phones there. So I think the idea of declaring Apple dead off this quarter is the old way to look at it. I think that you look at service revenue. I think you look at the ecosystem. I think you realize that you've got tiers. You can have a $1,000 phone. You have a phone much lower. I think it's very well set up for that. And the fact is if the stock gets hit to 140, 150, 153, it's your chance. Now, why not trade in and out? Because I don't know. What happens if it goes to 155 and never gets to your level? But I do think that there'll be dramatic estimate cuts. It will be 13 going to 7. I think some of the bears think it will be. I wouldn't be surprised if the estimate cuts go to, say, 10, 11. At 10, 11, then you still got a very inexpensive stock if it goes to 153, 155. So that's a downside story, and I give it to you.
Not related to the iPhone, but interesting to see President Trump give a shout out to Apple.
Well, I mean, you know, that's the equivalent of a Marshall Plan. I think people have to recognize that Apple is proud to be made here. There are a lot of companies proud to be made here. Apple, now you can say, well, Jim, come on, there's parts here, there's parts there. What are you going to do? Are you going to actually make everything in America these days? There isn't anything made everywhere except in Mexico, and that's because they have $5 an hour labor, they don't have any environmental controls, they have free health care, and they have no unions. So there's an attractive situation, and obviously the peso's down. So I've been very bullish on Mexico for some time, but there's just not a lot of companies you can play with.
And we're going to talk about your thoughts on the State of the Union in our Action Alerts Plus call, so join us there.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Jim, Advanced Micro Devices, quite...
Total battleground, and it shouldn't be. I think that Lisa Su has put together a company that is going through the Scylla of Intel and the Charybdis of NVIDIA. I think that the numbers for gaming were extraordinary. The blockchain numbers, not cryptocurrency, but blockchain numbers were excellent. People were fretting the gross margins at 36%. I'm not worried. I think gross margins go up. This is a company that could pay down debt, buy back shares, but instead, and they've done marginal of that. Instead, what they're doing is investing for the future. I think they're taking share in PCs. This is the little engine that could. And, I think Lisa Su's worth backing here. I would get on board AMD. I think it goes to 15.
Yeah, amazing how volatile it was after earnings.
Well, that was because there have been a couple of bear raids. There were some things that were lies said about it, including a restatement that people implied was going to be a revenue recognition. That is untrue. It was a restatement according to a lot of the different rules that the tax codes come out with. Then there was discussion about margin decline. The margins were terrific. There was discussion about weakness in cryptocurrency. That's completely untrue. Blockchain, which is what she's switching to, is quite strong. There was a discussion about maybe a loss of data center. And maybe a loss to Intel with the new chips. Eric Johnson covers that very well. There's going to be some, certainly Intel's got a new edition coming up, but AMD held its own. I could say took share, and personal computers definitely took share. Data center business is good. So there's a concerted effort to keep the stock lower. It's very interesting because the real way you keep the stock lower is to say they haven't totally fixed the balance sheet. But then what do you do in the second half when they do? So it was a raid. It was filled with lies. Highly unusual to see that kind of thing these days. The knockdown from $13.25 to $12.10 was based all on lies. And I'd like to see it investigated, frankly.
Huh, really?
Yeah, I'd like to see it investigated. I think that was pure manipulation. Pure manipulation.
Right,
It could not have been more, let's say, duplicitous in the way that people analyzed that quarter instantly. I'd like to see an investigation of that. I don't think people are that stupid. I think people are manipulating. I believe that Lisa Su put together a great quarter, and I think people knew it was a great quarter, and they decided to lie about it, keep the stock down.
All right, we'll see if anything comes
charge.
out of that.
Serious charge.
Meanwhile, Jim, who do you have coming up on Mad Money tonight?
Yeah, I've got automatic data. They won the big fight against Bill Ackman. Bill, I wonder how he's doing now, because he got that Herbalife up a lot. And I think that you got to stay focused on that. Then Evan Greenberg, Chubb, they never do TV. I've been after them and after them and after them for multiple years. Chubb is premier insurer. Now, I've always liked Travelers, and I've always liked Chubb. Now, Chubb was Ace before they merged, but I think that these are both fabulous guests. And automatic data, obviously, there's a lot to talk about in terms of beating back the proxy, but also the strength of the economy. And the notion of the strength of the economy is being overlooked because of political concerns. And the Republicans think the economy is strong, the Democrats say it isn't, or the Democrats say that it was strong because of Obama. I don't really care what makes it strong. It drives stocks higher. I care about stock prices. I'm not political. Stock prices are, we had a nice bounce back off of what was clearly a 10-year going to 2.7, and the huge healthcare business that was hurt. I still think that healthcare is tentative. If you want to be there, you want to be in Centene.
All right. Also, Jim, you are going to be sitting down with Mark Chaikin today on TheStreet.com at 11:30 a.m. We're very excited.
Mark is Philadelphia's own. We're going to kick around stocks. I know that Bob Lang has been saying that it's kind of a battle royal, like a rumble in the jungle. No, it's going to be educational. Education is key. I'm trying to educate people about using the technicals. And if you want to be educated, then you tune in to this webinar. It is not about he hates this, I love that. It's about teaching you to be a better investor. That's what matters.
Go to webinar.thestreet.com. Meanwhile, Jim, you and I are going to continue the conversation on Action Alerts Plus. Please join us there.